Testing, is that better? Can everyone hear me? All right. Big deep breath. Hello to everyone that has come here to join us, whether you be here in person or whether you're with us from around the world in Facebook Live land. We are really grateful to have your support. It's been, can I say, a hell of a year. We were just here 4 short months ago, saying goodbye and celebrating the life of Mom. And now we're here to celebrate the life of Dad. And we're very fortunate to have Dad for almost 81 years. One of the things that I'd like to do, though, is acknowledge a missing piece here, and that is Gordy and Diana. They are unfortunately unable to be here for us, but I know they're watching. So we feel your love and we feel your heart. And of course, my dad's brother in Slovakia, we also feel your love, and we will be playing your video very shortly. Towards the end of the slideshow, we're going to ask you all to have a toast with us. So we will be offering up Slivovica, or a glass of white or red wine. So if you're not into the hard stuff, we've got an alternative. And of course, you can always use coffee, water, whatever you like. And then just like at Mom's, we do have some photos here at the front along with Dad. And we have candles here, so please feel free to come up and have a moment with Dad yourself, and light a candle in his honor. Okay, we will continue on with the Vrato's video. It's about 10 minutes long, and we'll see you shortly. Okay, thank you.
Drahá rodina, milí kanadskí priatelia, ako brat by som aj rád pridal pár spomienok na Kaja. Najprv ale musím povedať, že Kajo bol o 6 rokov starší. Z toho vyplynulo, že na začiatku bol len mojím opatrovateľom. Prvou mojou spomienkou je, ako ma Kajo s Karolom Stráceným z Horkej ulice učili trojkolkovať. Druhá spomienka je môj pád z kufra na hračky, keď som chcel vidieť spolu s Kajom z okna koč cigánskej svadby. Rozbil som si do radiátor hlavu a mám plastieru. Aké dôsledky to malo pre Kaja, si nepamätám. Kajo väčšinou v mladosti strávil v centre Bratislavy. Býval v Mandeláku. Do Mandeláku sme sa sťahovali v roku 1949, keď som do rodiny pribudol aj ja. Vid na Hejdukovej nad mužom bol asi tesný. A stále tam vysel smutok za úmrtím môjho dvojročného brata Stánička. Spomínam si tiež, že Kajo bol veľký domáci kutil. Vianočného kapra napríklad nehybnoval elektrickým prúdom. Zroztoril si rôzne rádiové obvody. Najúžitočnejší bol pre nás konvertor na UKV-VKV rádio. Slúžil nám na to, aby sme mohli počúvať správy a hudbu z viedenského rádia. Stredoškolské štúdia strávil Kajo mimo Bratislavu. V elektrotechnickom učilišti v Komárne, Brne a montážach v Stráske. Veľa času pred vojnou tiež strávil na Dunajskom kúpalisku Lido a na Bratislavskom koze. Mal tam veľa priateľov. Pre štíru postavu ho tam volali Fakir. Preto si asi hľadal kamarátov s lepšou fyzickou kondíciou, ako bol Milan Almo a Dano Prokša. Na kore sa vymieniali platne, ale aj lovili baby. Často tam preto dochádzalo aj k potičkám. Keď sa Kajo vrátil z vojny, boli sme už rovnocennými partnermi. Za moju 80 basov harmoniku si kúpil skúter ČZ 175. Ten veľmi utužil naše bratstvo. Urobili sme si veľký výlet na Moravu, navštívili sme aj rodinu v Olomouci. Skúter tak pomohol asi aj vo zoznámeniu Kaja s Jarkou. Dali sa dokopy a často chodili do večka tancovať. Jarmila bola jeho osudová láska. Mal vtedy 25 rokov a to už teda začala fungovať kliatba rodu Paličkovcov. Otec Karol sa totiž ženil v roku 1936, Kajo 1967, ja v 73. a môj syn Martin v roku 2000. Všetci sme mali teda práve 25 rokov. Po svadbe v roku 1967 sa Kajo nasťahoval z Jarmilov do Mandeláku. Obyvateľ spálňou na manželskú pôžičku si zariadili izbu a v malej izbičke mala ešte aj Jarka malú kuchynku. Boli sme štvorgeneračná domácnosť, žila s nami ešte aj babička Anna Ecová z Olomouca. V roku 1967 bola v Československu Pražská jar, vedená Alexandrom Dubčekom. Kajovi a Jarke sa 2. júna narodila dcéra Jarmilka. Slubný vývoj ukončili 21. august tanky spojencov Varšavskej zmluvy pod vedením Brežneva. Vlastný byt bol vtedy ešte nedohľadne a neistá budúcnosť po ruskej okupácii zažala v Kajovi túžbu po západe. Kamaráti Milan Hau a Peter Simonides mali v Nemecku rodinu, Jarmila brata Milana v New Yorku. Spolu teda kamaráti začali rozmýšľať o emigrácii, ktorú aj v októbri 1968 zrealizovali. Otvorené hranice sa na jeseň 1968 začali už zatvárať. Kajo cestoval do Viedne autobusom sám, Jarka s malou Jackie cestoval vlakom z prievodu nášho otca Karola. Mladú rodinu v Kanade rodičia všemožne podporovali. Spomínam si, že sme im posielali rôzne noviny, knihy, časopisy, cigarety a dokonca aj Jarkin hlboký kočík, všetko to, čo mohlo mladej rodine uľahčiť život cudzine. Život v Kanade urobil z Kaja seriózneho a pracovitého otca rodiny. Mohol sa spoľahnúť už len na seba. Namiesto štúdia angličtiny sa iný po príchode do Winnipegu zamestnal v Pioneer Electric, kde profesíne rástol a zostal pracovať až do dôchodku. V Hostene sa stala manželku a 2 dcery. Zariadil pre ľudí bývanie, postupne zrekonštruoval 2 domy. Ako som sa sám mohol v Kanade v roku 1990 presvedčiť, Kajo bol veľkým domácim majstrom. Všetko od elektriky vedel doma aj v lázni namontovať a v dome opraviť. Zmajstroval si pri dome záhradu aj bazén. V normalizovanom Československu písomná komunikácia s Vratovou rodinou bola pod ostrým dohľadom policajnej cenzúry. Niektoré naše listy došli otvorené, niektoré nedošli vôbec. Lepšie znalosti pomerov v Winnipegu prispievali aj pravidelné návštevy rodičov Galovičovcov, Štefana a Marienky, ako aj našej mamy Boženky. Vracali sa domov spokojní, plní zážitkov. Kajo rodnú Bratislavu aj Československu. Mal tu veľkú rodinu, aj veľa známych, s ktorými sa pri návštevách rád stretával. Po nežnej revolúcii v roku 1989 skoro každé 2 roky prichádzali naši Kanaďania na Slovensko pravidelne. V živej pamäti mám prílet Kajovej rodiny do Frankfurtu nad Mohanom. Tu ich spolu s Alex čakal na letisku. Alex na nich už 3 týždne čakala v Bratislave u babičky Galovičovej. V spoločnosti bratrancov a sestreníc tu Alex objavovala život mladých Bratislavčanov. Spolu s Kajom, Jarmilou, Jackie a Alex sme cestovali domov na Mazde. Navštívili cestou Schaffhausen po Švajčiarsku. Tu žil priateľ Halmo, došiel aj Peter Simonides. Spolu sme tam strávili 2 dní v Alpách, kúpali sa v prízračnom Víne a videli aj rozprávkový zámok Neuschwanstein v Bavorsku. Od roku 1990 návštevy Kanaďanov videli vysoké a nízke Tatry, slovenský raj a iné pamiatky a krásy Slovenska. Viac razy sme spolu navštívili aj rodinu v Olomouci. Bolo to rodisko našich rodičov Karola Najlepšie spomienky mám na kajac komunikácii cez Skype a e-maily. Takmer každú nedeľu sme spolu cez Skype sa vzájomne informovali o našich rodinách. Kaja bol veľmi sčítaný, klebetili sme o politike, knihách, filmoch, hokeji, tenise a zdraví a najmä úspechoch našich detí a vnúčat. Ako napríklad o šikovnosti Gevina Celkry. Na diaľku sme si cez Skype pripíjali k novému roku, k narodeninám a iným sviatkom. V marci 2023 nás veľmi zarmútila choroba skôr smrť Jarmily. Snažil som sa povieť skône naliať bratovi trocha optimizmu. Z jeho reakcii som však cítil, že úmrtie Jarmily od základu rozvátilo jeho život. Povedal mi, že malo to byť naopak. Moje obavy o Kaja sa ukázali opodstatnení, jeho zhoršujúci sa zdravotný stav bol evidentný. Chýbala mu Jarmilina láska a zmysel ďalšieho života. Odišiel do neba za Jarmilkou rýchlo už po 4 mesiacoch, napriek veľkej starostlivosti Jackie, Alex a celej rodine. Veľká snaha Jackie, Alex už Jarmilku nahradiť nemohla. Jeho pracovitý život sa naplnil. V nemocnici s horkom plúc spánku našej obavy od svojich zdravotných problémov. Starostlivý otec, brat a švagor zostane natrvalo v našich spomienkach. Názory staršieho brata na svet a život rodiny mi budú veľmi chýbať. V našom rodinnom kruhu ostáva po Kajovi prázdne miesto, ktoré musíme si naplniť len fotkami, videami a spomienkami na pekné, spoločne prežité chvíle. Zostane v našich srdciach a mysliach navždy.
Thank you, Vrato, for those words and the history of our family. We won't be going too much into that. We'll focus now on some of the new memories that we have with Dad, or recent memories. But before we go into ours, Alex is going to read a poem that she wrote that reflects. Some of the portions of it are actually in the pamphlet that we had at the front, but not the whole poem. So I'd like to pass the microphone to Alex now to read that poem.
A heart full of love and memories. Your house is still, so quiet, dark, comforting and familiar, but different now. Echoes of life once lived fall silent in rooms still filled with your presence. Your sweater is waiting, smell of your cologne, the empty chair. Grief is waiting in the darkness to swallow, except for the heart full of love and memories. We are left longing for connection, to see your smile, your eyes twinkling mischievously, to hear, so what's new and exceptional, I love you too, to hold your arm, to feel your presence. The heart aches, but it knows peace. Life will continue, and the day will not go by that you won't be missed. Reminded of your strength and resolve, thankful of the sacrifice you made to provide a home full of love and a life of opportunity. Grateful for the years we had making memories, filling a heart full of love and memories that keeps the darkness at bay.
So beautiful. I had no idea my sister had a talent for poetry writing. I think she's got to write a book. So now we're going to take a few minutes. I think we did that out of the wrong order, didn't we? But that's okay. So now we're going to take a few minutes to share some thoughts about our dad. I'm going to pass the microphone back to Alex because she'll go first. You know, it should be age before beauty, but in this case, it's beauty before age. Anyways, here's Alex.
A few memories I have growing up. Growing up, Dad had a workshop in the basement full of electrical stuff and would be down there fixing whatever was broken. I would often go down to check out what he was working on. If I was lucky, Dad would let me play with his soldering a gun or building things out of scrap lumber, wires, and screws. I remember one time we built an abacus with some spare lumber, dowels, and nuts for the counters. For a science fair project one year, in grade 4 or 5, Dad helped me build a circuit board with a light bulb, a switch, and a bunch of connecting wires that could be hooked up in different ways. He spent many nights trying his best to teach me about electrical currents, parallel series that I'm not quite remember, to impress the judges, but obviously to no avail. For work, Dad did a lot of traveling when we were young. I always was excited to go to the airport to watch the planes come and go in that second floor viewing of the airport, and even more excited to pick up Dad when he came home. He would always bring home those little cheese and cracker packages in his pockets that you would get on the plane, or if you're lucky, the little coveted bag of nuts. And if I was really lucky, there was a stuffy or a toy hidden in a suitcase. He would always take his time to open that suitcase. As a family, we were always camping or traveling somewhere. There are many camping weekends and annual summer road trip to Expo 86, Yellowstone National Park, and Mount Rushmore, all in the striped blue van with velvet walls and ceiling and no air conditioning. We always rushed to fall asleep before Dad did, or his snoring would keep you awake the entire night.
Kept the bears away.
Yes. We also took trips to Florida, Slovakia, and many other parts of Europe. Those memories are a treasured part of our childhood. Mom and Dad continued to travel through the years, going back to Slovakia, also to Cuba, Egypt, New York, and many times to Mexico. We had 2 amazing family trips to Mexico as a group, along with many summers spent around the pool and Sunday night family dinners.
Thanks, Alex. So some of the things that I can remember is that, Dad was very handy. He took on any challenge, whether it was learning to build a fence, whether it was learning to put up disco lights in the dance room that was downstairs, which eventually became my bedroom, but I had to fight him for it. Whether it was learning to do plumbing, or whether it was making wine, or making sausages with Grandma and Grandpa when they came. He didn't shy away from trying any of these things. And he also loved to help people. So often you could find him doing things for other people, much to the chagrin of Mom sometimes, because it sometimes interfered with our plans, but Dad was in there wanting to help. My dad had, our dad had a lot of idiosyncrasies, some particularities. You would never catch Dad in a short sleeve woven shirt or a t-shirt, ever. He even painted fences wearing a long sleeve woven shirt, button front shirt. I made an old one, but it was still always a button front shirt. He hated wearing shorts, but would do so if the temperature rose to +40. And then always sandals and socks, and we know that. One of the other things that he loved to do is he loved to be able to make my mom, shall we say, burst. Dad would intentionally say something to Mom while she was in the kitchen, forcing my mom to come out and go, "Kyle, what are you doing? Why are you saying that?" And meanwhile, he would have already smirked and winked at both Alex and I, knowing full well that that was going to get the rile out of our mom. He was a quiet man. He didn't do a lot of talking, but when he did, it was usually quite important or something I didn't agree with. So we would often have some good rows between the two of us as we shared different opinions on things. But more often than not, I would often go back to him and tell him that I understand his perspective. One of the things he loved was going out for a good meal, and he always dressed up for us when we did. But his preference was always to eat at home. Mom's cooking reigned supreme. I think it did for us too. We loved going mushroom hunting with my folks too when we were little. The only thing I didn't like was the onion sandwiches that we would have on those mushroom hunting expeditions. I'm not sure where that came from, but man, I think it was to keep the bears away maybe. And then one of the latest things that happened is when Dad got introduced to the computer, and that changed everything for him. He had gained access to knowledge, he gained access to his family back home and to friends all around the world, and he spent a great deal of time sending us jokes, didn't he? Yeah, to the point where some of us had to actually ask him to stop. and that's okay too. One other thing I'd like to mention about Dad is that in the last few years, I was very blessed that I was able to spend a lot of time caring for them, and that was a blessing for me. I never thought that my own circumstances would benefit me to the point where I could have all this time with the folks. And I feel very blessed and grateful for that. And I know that it was a relief for Alex too, and a support for Alex to be able to know that we were there always for them. And one of the things I gotta just quickly say is how much my dad loved Kenzie and Gavin. It wasn't always easy for him to communicate with them because of just different backgrounds and growing up in a technological age and all of that kind of stuff, but he was so proud of all their achievements. And boy, did he beam when Kenzie came in with their dress for grad. Oh my gosh, my dad didn't stop talking about that for a while. And Gavin's soccer, he relished every game he was able to get to. So thank you guys. So now, we're on to the video. Sorry, I had to get some support here. Okay. So now we're going to play our slideshow. It's about 8 minutes, so you can sit back and relax, and hopefully we can make it a little bit more lighthearted now. I feel like we've gotten a little heavy, but after all, it's a life well lived, and we should be celebrating that. Okay. Oh, yes, and just a reminder, once we get through the slideshow, at some point you will see a slideshow with the chairs, and we will be coming around at that point with an option for you, like we discussed. So please be ready for that, just so that we can make that happen fairly quickly, and make sure you got yours on Facebook Land. Okay, all right, thank you.
So cheers.
Bring the drinks
Yeah,
around.
so we can now have the drinks come around. And if you haven't got yours yet in Facebook, please, Facebook Live, please go get a little toast. And we're going to raise a glass. Just have a moment here. You can play this, and then also got the we have a lot of pictures of Dad doing a cheers, so.
everyone, there is little pizza and red and white wine. So yeah, we have already. So
Thank you.
Is everyone
good? Does anyone else need a drink yet?
Does everyone have a drink, or are you yelling? Okay, I think we're good. So I will ask if everybody that can, that they would stand for a moment. Ryan, can you cover the light? Thank you, sweetheart. So, if we can turn down the music. So in honor of our dad, Karol Palicka, who loved his Czechoslovakian community and he loved his family, may he forever rest in peace, and may he be dancing up a storm with Mum to Elvis. Cheers, na zdravíčko, na zdraví. Oh!
You would have loved it.
Oh, how can you drink that stuff? Oh my God.
Well, that's
One way to ruin my makeup.
oh. So now So now I would like to take an opportunity to say thank you to, first and foremost, the club for allowing us to be able to have this very special celebration of life for my dad, for our dad here. It's really the only place that made sense. My dad spent a lot of his time here. He was on the board for a number of years, and he really treasured that time and that sense of community. Special shout out to the ladies that are working with us that helped make this happen, and to Tony for making this such an easy process for us to be able to be here. We will have some food and some dainties out at the back there, and I hope everyone gets to partake. But before we let you go to enjoy some of that,
Get rid of the slivovica taste in your mouth. Alex has a very special poem that she wrote
for
at the end of our service here. And I also wanted to
mention that we each have something from Dad. I'm
wearing Dad's wedding ring.
And Alex is wearing his necklace. And I also want to encourage you again to come out and to come up forward and take a look at the photos and light a candle and have a so.
Our goodbye. I watch you laying there so peaceful and still, pretending you're asleep. I brush your hair and touch your cheek, straightening your shirt one last time. Gone is your smile, the twinkle in your eyes, your face now wrinkled with time gone by. I sit and caress your hand, my heart aching, yearning for more time and grateful for the time we have. Tears stream down my cheeks. I whisper in your ear, I love you, Dad, and kiss you goodbye. It's now time for peace and memories, remembering lessons taught and learned. I turn and leave, knowing you're now at peace, and that I will always be your little girl. Thank you.
Thank you to everybody that was on Facebook. Why is it not working for me? I'm not yelling. Thank you to everybody on Facebook Live. This concludes the formal
Part of our service, and we will take you around and show you the front videos, the front photos, as well as Dad's urn and the candles that we have there. And everybody else, thank you. I look forward to chatting with you. Okay, take care.